Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining one more webinar for the Innovation and Precision Eye Health webinar series. I'm Dr. Raymond Najjar. I'm the Research Director of the Department of Ophthalmology at NUHS, and I'm also an Assistant Professor in the department. And today it gives us really great pleasure to welcome our speaker, Professor Kazuo Tsubota from Japan. Welcome on board, Professor Tsubota. We're really looking forward to your talk today. I'll do a brief introduction, even though you need no introduction. I'll just start with a brief introduction about your background and the title of your presentation, and then we will listen to your talk, and then my colleagues, Jiao Baksh and Dr. Yen Lai from NUHS Ophthalmology will join us for a discussion at the end of the talk. So if I may start with a quick introduction. So Prof. Tsubota is the CEO of Tsubota Laboratories and Professor Emeritus at Keio University School of Medicine. He is a global leader in ophthalmology. He is best known for his pioneering work on dry eye diseases. And over his career, he has combined clinical insight and innovative research to uncover new mechanisms and therapies for ocular surface disorders. His current research focus is on myopia, and he's exploring how violet light can help protect against its progression. And we all know that the epidemic of myopia is hitting Singapore quite strongly. So Professor Tsubota is widely recognized for his contributions to vision science. He was the first Japanese ophthalmologist to receive the American Academy of Ophthalmology Honor Award and was later honored with its Life Achievement Award in 2020. Through his translational research and entrepreneurial leadership, he continues to bridge science, innovation, and global eye health. Today, he's going to be talking to us about integrating innovation and science, a hypoxia-based approach to myopia control, and the challenge of advancing innovation in Japanese medical schools. So this is going to be a really exciting talk. So if you have any questions, you can type your questions in the Q&A section in the bottom, and we will address them at the end with Dr. Yan, Jiao, and of course, Prof. Tsubota around a round table of discussion. So Professor Tsubota, thanks again for being a speaker on the webinar series, and we look forward to your lecture. Please.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It's my great honor, especially thank you, Raymond, for my invitation. And also later on, thank you for joining us, Jiao and Dr. Lai. I was very happy to be here. So let me share my slides. Oh, here. My talk is integrating innovation and science, hypoxia-based approach to myopia control. Can you see this?
Yes, we can see it perfectly.
Wonderful, wonderful. As Raymond has introduced me, I'm now the CEO of Tsubota Laboratory. I have started this company 10 years ago, and I retired from my department chair 5 years ago. So I will talk today about those things together with the science. So first, I'd like to talk about the two management system. You may or may not be familiar. One is agile management. I want to challenge myself to the fullest of my ability. This is starting from where you are now. So you imagine what you can do from your position or from your ability. That is called agile management. It's a very important management approach. But the other is a backcasting management. I want to take on challenge that truly excite me in life. It doesn't matter where you are or what's your ability. Most important thing is what you like to do in your life. So the setting point is future. agile management starting from now, current now, but the backcast meeting, management, you think about yourself or your company from the future. And I love this backcast management. So I will talk about this later on. So this is the summary that start from the present agile. When I was age of 60, 10 years ago, I was getting retired. So I was thinking I'm an eye doctor, I'm expert of dry eye and myopia, and I have a management ability, what I can do. There are a lot of offer from the hospital, like management offer or the other job in the other medical school. But I thought, oh, I like to do something new. 10 years later, I like to run my own company. So it's a backcast management. I really thought. So at that time, I did not have the ability to run the company. Later on, at the age of 62, I went to business school and I got an MBA degree, those things. But the important thing is that think about the future. That's what I did for the last 10 years. The one thing initiate me is this fact. This bar graph showing the deficit of import, that Japan is exporting medical device or pharmaceuticals, but also importing a lot. So this bar is the difference. So we are losing money in the medical, science and also medical practice. So that's a serious because it's increasing dramatically. So that in other words, Japanese pharmaceutical company does not have ability to make a new medicine or new eye drops. That's a problem. There's a study, how about the science? Japanese science is strong compared to United States. This red one, the Japan is like a 60%. As of the IP, it's patents obtained. It's it's a 60%. But here, revenue from the patents, so application of the patents is very, very low. So that's a serious problem. So when you think about the university-driven innovation, you have to think about the science, of course, but Japanese science level is fine. But this is a big deficit, commercialization. We did not have ability of commercialization. That's a key. Actually, when you think back of the history of university, university started as a teaching university in the 12th century. University Bologna, Oxford, and Paris, it's education. Then second generation, starting 19th century, the University of Humboldt in Germany. They thought, oh, maybe not only education, but doing a research is a good idea to go. There's a big debate, but research was considered to be the job of university. But now, the third generation of the university is that innovation university, like a Stanford University or MIT. So now we are the era of innovation university. We have to change the society. The university have to contribute to the society. Actually, in Japan, also 2015, 10 years ago, we changed the regulation. There's a law, Japan School Education Act, defining what is university. Okay, so almost 50 years ago, the research and education was considered to be the job of the university. But now, 2015, 10 years ago, innovation was added officially. So we have to work on this very seriously. So traditional role of the investigators, I don't know how many the physicians, how many the PhD, or how many investigators are listening to my talk, but I believe a lot of people are doing research. Those investigators have to do the research or education, but now the new concept of researchers have a new job, innovation. So I have written a book. Sorry, it's Japanese, but I have written a book. The concept of go out. That means go out from research and education to the innovation. For example, about the way of thinking, we have to go out of the operative thinking. You may or may not be familiar with the operative thinking. Operative thinking is very, very, very familiar in the medicine or pharmacy or aviation. They expect a certainty 100%. Failure not tolerated. That means if you make a diagnosis, you cannot make a failure. If I do the surgery, I cannot make a failure because otherwise the patient go blind, right? But in the innovative way of thinking, the certainty is less and the failure is tolerated or sometimes failure is encouraged. So those approaches are totally different. Predictability is high in the operative thinking, but the innovative thinking is low. Experience works as plus in the operative. So that's the reason that professor is highly respected, like me, is better than the resident because I have more experience of the surgery. But sometimes in an innovative way, experience can work as a minus. So I have a very, stubborn idea, and the resident has a flexible idea, and they can contribute more. Those things. So those we have to go out from the operative thinking. So what I did, my go out experience is professor of university hospital, and I'm importing a lot of foreign medicine. But as a CEO of Tsubota Laboratory, that we like to export our invention. So it's a totally opposite challenge I'm trying to do. So this is Tsubota Lab. I have started 10 years ago. That's Tsubota Laboratory, a startup from Keio University, focusing on myopia, dry eye, and presbyopia while taking a term Gokigen. Gokigen means happy. Happiness is our culture in my company. So come back to the science. Let's talk about the myopia for a while. As you know, the most important environmental factors for myopia is near work. It's a big risk. And outdoor time, it's protection, right? So how it's connected? So it's connected through choroid. Choroid is very important tissue providing 80% of the oxygen to the eye. So there's a historical paper by Dr. Zhou's group. I admire him very much. That published in PRONAS in 2018. Scleral hypoxia is a target for myopia control. Right? So hypoxia is the key. As you know, myopia choroid is very thin. So choroid is providing 80% of the oxygen. It's thin means it's ischemia. So myopia is an ischemic disorder. A lot of people thought that choroidal thinning as a result of eye elongation, but there are several papers reporting no, choroidal thinning is a cause of elongation. Elongation is a result of choroidal thinning. So I don't explain the detail, but there's a history of research like avian, like a chick, that human and the mouse and the other animal, uh, when they accommodate, not only change the shape of the lens, but also thin the choroid to accommodate. So this is the ischemia hypothesis. Accommodation produce the thinner choroid, cause ischemia, ischemia cause scleral thinning, then eye elongation. So question. So outdoor activity is protective. So really the outdoor activities increase the choroidal blood flow. Yes, we have recently published a paper. Intensive outdoor activity for 1 week increases the choroidal thickness. We recruited the school children in the camp, mountain camp, and compare the before and after the camping. Interesting that the choroidal thickness increased just after the 7 days of outdoor activities. Look at this, almost 30 micrometers of increase of choroid. So now I understand that outdoor activity increases choroidal thickness. So then how that outdoor time increases the choroidal thickness? We have published a paper several years ago that the violet light transmission is related to myopia progression. Very, very high myopia. We have been implanting the phakic IOL. One is the Altisan and the other is Altiflex. It's almost the same phakic IOL, but this Altiflex transmit the violet light, but the Altisan does not. So it's interesting, after 5 years, that Altiflex, which transmit the violet light, does not increase the elongation, length. But if the violet light is not transmitting in the Altisan lens, it's still continue to extend. So what is a violet light? Violet light is the part of a wavelength of a sunlight. It's a shorter wavelength. It's about a visible light, and it's abundant in the sunshine, but it's not existing indoor. That's a key. So we have published a PRONAS in 2021 that violet light, which is abundant in the outdoor, suppresses myopia mouse model. As you know, there are many lights outdoor, like blue light here, blue light, or green light, or red light. Only violet light suppress that elongation. Blue light has some, but the violet light is most active, right? Why? Why just a violet light? It's just a color. But if you look back of the history of light for life, that Earth was born 4.6 billion years ago, life was born 3.8 billion years ago, that cyanobacteria, the small bacteria, started to use light 2.5 billion years ago. I was born just a half billion years ago. So for 22 billion years, the creature has been using light without eye. So without eye, how do they use? They use non-visual photoreceptors, right? It's not for vision. Human has 9 photoreceptors, and 4 visual, like opium 2 green is a rod photoreceptor. Opium 1 blue, green, red are the cone receptors. They are the visual. But we have 5 non-visual photoreceptors, and most of them are activated by blue, but opium 5 is activated only violet light. That means, in other words, violet light exists only outdoor. Though that means opium 5 working only outdoor. This opium 5 positive cell is existing in the ganglion cell layer. We have published in the PRONAS. This is from that paper. So this is the key for the violet light hypothesis. So, choroidal thickness is the key, right, in the ischemia hypothesis. Violet, by minus lens induced that the choroidal thickness got thin, but with thin like this, but with the violet light can be maintained. But with the opium 5 knockout mouse, the violet light effect's gone. So that means violet light is working through that opium 5, the special non-visual photoreceptor. So this is a summary. The opium 5 increase the choroidal thickness and fight back with the ischemia. So this is a summary that ischemia is outdoor time, of course, but also violet light is important. So how do we use this knowledge to make innovation? That we have published a paper, Effect of Violet Light Transmitting Eyeglasses. Because most of the eyeglasses you are wearing does not transmit violet light because it's a UV cut. UV cut glasses does not transmit the violet light. So we have developed a violet light transmitting but UV cut. Then we have published that elongation of the elementary school children and kids are suppressed with this lens. So violet light works in the clinical. But those people have to go outside. So we develop a violet light emitting eyeglasses. So kids don't have to go outside. They have a violet light exposure just wearing these eyeglasses. So pilot study showed the 40% suppression of elongation. So we are now doing a confirmatory trial, and we have done the last patient out just last month. So we are now analyzing the data. So I will share with you the violet light summary by songs. Sorry, this is Japanese, but I made a translation, so look at the translation.
Okay, let's go! 1, 2, 3, 4. V-I-V-I-O, V-I-O, light up. V-I-V-I-O, violet light up. V-I-V-I-O, V-I-O, light up. V-I-V-I-O, violet light up. 太陽に住んでいるバイオバイオバイオレットライト紫色
you understand the violet light, right? So I like to talk two more issues. According to ischemia hypothesis, there are several ways we can think of. One is a mast cell and the other is a EL stress to prevent the myopia. We have recently published a paper, choroidal mast cell and their degradation are the pivotal trigger for myopia development in the IOVS. When you think of the choroidal ischemia, you may think of the central circularity impairment, but also you think of the peripheral impairment. Central circular impairment approach is to the near work. There are a lot of dot lens or DIMS lens or my sight or outdoor activities like a violet light. But if you think of the peripheral circular impairment approach, we have to consider those cells in the choroid, endothelium cell, fibroblast, and immune cells. Immune cells has several eosinophils, macrophages, and mast cells. We have found a very interesting thing is that when we induce a mouse by lens-induced myopia, the mast cell degranulate. Is that interesting? That if we make these, that induction by LIM, they degrade. And also we thought, oh, maybe mast degranulation is related to the choroidal thinning. So we use mast cell depleted mice and put the lens-induced myopia. Amazingly, there's no myopia developing. So mast cell is necessary for just a lens-induced myopia. We are very surprised. So then next question is that if we stop the mast cell degranulation by eye drops, can we stop the myopia development? So we did the study. Yes, that the mast cell degranulation inhibitor eye drop suppresses the choroidal degranulation. Of course, it's eye drops, and it's control the choroidal thickness. In the lens-induced myopia, choroidal thickness got thin, but the mast cell stabilization, they can maintain the choroid. So if we stabilize the mast cell, we can fight back with the ischemia. And also this stop the elongation of eye. So we are very, very confident that the immune cells is related to the choroidal circulation. The one more thing is that we have published a paper that Scullero, Perk, and ATF6, which are the EL stress pathway, is related to the myopia axial elongation. So Dr. Ikeda, the first author, has observed that EL stress is existing in the sclera of LIM mouse model, lens-induced mouse model. And the EL sensor is activated in the mouse model. Like this, look at this. So if we stop that EL stress by, for example, like a 4-PBA, it's eye drops, then axial length elongation is greatly suppressed. Or in the contrary, that if we induce the EL stress by tunicamycin, tunicamycin is an inducer of EL stress. We don't need LIM. Just the eye drops can make a myopia. So if if you induce the ER stress, they develop myopia. So when you look at the collagen fiber, this is normal. This is the LIM. The fiber get thin and smaller. But here for PBA, that if we stop the EL stress, it's almost normal. Excuse me. So when you calculate the diameter of collagen, look at this. This is myopia. This is myopia induced, but with the 4 PBA. It's almost as normal. It's almost a normal. Look at this. So this is very important finding. So ER stress controller can make the fibroblast, working healthier and making a healthy collagen fibers. So this is a summary of Tsubota Lab's 3 pipelines based on the hypoxia theory. The accommodation induce ischemia. We are intervening in a mast cell or violet light approach. And in the scleral thinning, we are approaching an EL stress approach. So I hope those approaches can work to stop the myopia. Those are the Tsubota Lab is now doing. So now come back to the innovation. Like 10 years ago when I started my company, it's a go out for me. So how did I or could I decide? One is a self-efficacy. Like you see that, yes, I can do it. I can do the business. Or I know the dry eye or myopia. And maybe the company is the same with the Department of Ophthalmology. Maybe we can do it. This feeling. Second is a knowledge. I have been working and learning not only the ophthalmology but also the capital strategy or the how to make a company or how to make a team. Those knowledge. We call it a T-shaped strategy. I will talk about these two things. Third is just a personal trigger. My case, I was retiring in 5 years. So when I started the company at the age of 60, that I could see that the retirement age is just in 5 years. So it's my timing. So if you have this self-efficacy and you have some cognitive readiness and also you have a trigger, then I think you can go out. So this I can do it feeling is very, very important. The human has a positive illusion. And my belief is that Gokigen, happy. Happy people can take a risk. So Gokigen or happy people have a strong positive illusion. Yes, I can do it feeling. So we start the company. This is my book. I have written this book at the age of 40. This book says things go well when you are Gokigen, right? It is not the case that you are Gokigen because things went well. So my company went to IPO 3 years ago. So I was happy at that time, but not because of the IPO was successful. My story is I was Gokigen happy at the beginning. That's the reason we could do that IPO. So the Tsubota Lab, the first job we did is make a Gokigen musical, 2015. I started the company February of 2015, and the first product was May of 2015, this Gokigen musical. So we are very serious about the Gokigen. I think the most important discovery in the history of humankind is you can choose Gokigen. It's a mindset. So you don't need any condition. If you like to be Gokigen, you can choose it. That's my philosophy, and a lot of philosophers thinks this kind of way. The second is T-shaped strategy. We are the ophthalmologists, right? So we are this straight line. We are eye doctors or eye researchers. It's an area of expertise. It's called the comfort zone. But we need a diversity knowledge, a diversity connection. So in order to start the startups, we need a T-shaped strategy. I have asked my colleague 10 years ago, are you interested in starting the company? Only 10% of the people said yes. But just 3 years ago, I asked again, I was educating my colleague. So 50% people says, yes, I'm interested in the startup. That's very nice move. I think they are getting more Gokigen. So now from Keio University Department of Medicine, we have 21 startups, and 3 of them went to IPO, and the current value is like this. So it's a very nice development. So finally, that I will briefly talk about the diversity. When you say diversity, people think about organizational diversity, like National Singapore University, how many women professor there, or how many how many young people there, or how many foreigners there. Same thing in Japan. We are discussing those things. But recently, the new concept, interpersonal diversity, is emerging. This is very important for the startup to start. So I like to share with you how to increase the interpersonal diversity. In my case, I'm doing very seriously that I try to read 200 books a year. Is that a big, right? Big number? Watch 50 movies a year, or those, a lot. Meet interesting people every month. Attend lectures. Learn a lot from children. I was lucky. I have 5 children. So they are very good teacher. I learned about ChatGPT from Kazuo, my third son. So those things. And finally, I start playing the trumpet. I did not have a time about the violet light stimulation of the brain. Violet light increases the blood flow of the eye. Eye is a central nervous system. We have later on found that the violet light through OPN5 increase the blood flow of the brain. So I'm using it all the time. So stimulate my brain. But also harness the power of music. Music is now believed to be a very good stimulator of your brain, especially of right brain. Our operative thinking is considered to be run by left brain. It's very theoretical. But for the innovative, right brain is very important. And like me, that I was in the medical society for more than 50 years, then my brain is so left, so operative. So I have to change my way of thinking. So begin to play the trumpet and stimulate my brain. .僕たちってどうしても自分の領域、コンフォートゾーンっていうところに留まってしがいがちだけど、そうじゃなくて僕たちの本質は外に行くことだ。
はい、つぼらも来ました。これから、イノベーションミーティングに行きます。
Sorry, this is a translation, please.
大丈夫ですよ。ありがとうございます。
Beginning.
はい。
Make
これ僕にとっては本当に大きなゴーアウトで、音痴で音楽できないし、それからこういう楽器もしたことないし、でもなんかやってみようかな、脳を活性化したいなと思ってちょっとゴーアウトしてみました。
同じ楽譜を見てる。で、楽譜を見ながらこうやって練習できるっていうのがすごい。すごい。こんなにも変われるんだ、こんなにも成長できるんだなっていうので感動しました。
トランペットで一番良かったのは、うちの子供たちの3人ね、ミカとカズヤとミヤコとすごい仲良くなれたこと。これを通していろんなことを一緒にやれたこと。これはぜひ続けていきたいな。それからこれをすることによってすごいなんか自分が学べる、いろんな感性が広がっていくのを本当に感じます。
So I recently did a live show at the Billboard, Tokyo Billboard. That's my dream, and dream came true. So I was very happy. So this is the last slide. So investigators create innovation. Be Gokigen and step out of your comfort zone based on backcasting strategy. Let's activate your brain with the light and music and become T-shaped individuals who can go out. So this is a final statement. Thank you very much for listening in the late time of the day. I really appreciate. Raymond, thank you very much again.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Prof. Tsubota. This was really an inspiring talk. I really admire your drive, and I can promise that I'll try to be more Gokigen from now on.
Thank
So, for the discussion, of course, first I invite everyone to ask their questions, either about myopia or innovations, or probably Prof. Tsubota's career and career shift and his drive basically in the Q&A section. And I'm happy to welcome with me right now Dr. Lai Yan, who is a consultant and pediatric ophthalmologist at the Department of Ophthalmology at NUH and a close collaborator on multiple of our research projects on myopia. So welcome Yan to this panel discussion. And I'm also happy to welcome our research associate, Mr. Jiao Bax, who is also working on projects related to myopia and has been trained in Prof. Tsubota's lab as well. And he's now in our eye and brain research group. So the floor is open for questions. And maybe I can start with Yan, if you have any questions for Prof. Tsubota.
Yeah, hi, Prof. Thank you for a very enlightening session. I'm really inspired by, your passion in fostering a positive work culture and your focus on happiness, because this is not commonly seen nowadays in companies. And I'll just limit my question to three questions. I've actually got a lot of things to ask you, but due to the constraint of time, maybe two questions on the violet light emission glasses. The first one would be, how long do the children have to wear the glasses for? And do you think that red light therapy can be used to complement the violet light treatment? Or maybe before that, do you believe in the red light therapy?
Right. So as of the hours, we do the 3 hours radiation for the clinical trial. There's a epidemiological data that the 2 hours is necessary, and 3 hours is ideal, but there's no data over 4 hours. 4 hours might be better because it's longer, but there's no data. So we negotiated with the PMDA, it's a Japanese FDA. They agreed about 3 hours, so we did a 3 hours irradiation. So I mean kids, wear the glasses for 3 hours a day. As of the supplemental red light, I think the pathway is different. The red light is perceived by the OPN1 red. It's a a visible photoreceptor, and violet light is OPN5. So there's a possibility that it's some summation effect, but we did not do the study yet.
Okay, thank you. And also, for your research on mast cell stabilizers, actually in Singapore, a lot of children with myopia on atropine also have allergic conjunctivitis who are on mast cell stabilizers. So just curious, like, have you done any studies on this group of patients? So kids who are on, mast cell stabilizers, for allergic conjunctivitis, and is their control
I see.
really, better?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
really would like to do the clinical. As of the violet light and also EL stress control, we found a partner company, so we are now doing a clinical trial. But as of the mast cell stabilizer, still we are looking for the big pharma because our company is very small, so we cannot do ourselves. So we like to have a contract about with the big pharma. So we are looking for the company. If you have any good suggestion, please do so.
Okay, thanks, Prof. But on my end, I'll probably also, try to keep a lookout on this group of patients because so many of them are on, Patanol in Singapore. But I've never really looked at whether, their control is better than kids who are not on Patanol. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just a
yeah,
very
yeah.
interesting perspective.
If yeah, if study it,
Mm,
if you have a data already, that's ideal. Yeah,
mm,
please do
yeah.
so.
Okay, thanks, Prof. Thank you.
Like,
Okay, excellent. Joel, any questions for Prof. Tsubota from
Yeah,
your side?
Prof. Subodh, I have two questions. I really enjoyed your talk, and I will always enjoy your talk. I started my research journey with you, so I'm so lucky to have you here. My
yeah.
first question is the changes in choroid we see it's transient, like it comes back to normal, choroidal blood flow come back to normal. So basically, all these changes are short-term changes. Do you think for long-term axial elongation or progression, these short-term changes are important factor?
Hmm?
Or ischemia. These short-term changes can predict the long-term elongation. What
Yeah.
your
So your
thoughts on it?
question is the ischemia elongate?
Yes.
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 Ischemia changed the scleral fibroblast to the myofibroblast. That is the historical paper by Wenzel's group. So I think ischemia can change the scleral metabolism. Then actually make the sclera very weak because of the collagen is getting abnormal. So
Okay.
we like to
Yeah.
approach,
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
directly to sclera or approach the ischemia part.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it makes so basically these short-term changes, continuous short-term changes are making scleral thin and then axial elongation.
Right, right, right.
Okay, understood. And my second question about your risk taking and innovation, basically failure in innovation. So you worked as a clinician first, then you became an entrepreneur. Failure and innovation comes together sometimes. So how do you deal with that? And as a clinician, how you make a balance between your clinical work, research, and this building a company?
I see, I see. I think for the last for the first 8 years, I have been doing both. I have been doing clinical and also the running the company together. But when the IPO approaches, then I have to focus on the company. So I stopped seeing the patient at the 2022. So now
Okay.
I'm focusing on so see as a CEO. Of course, I'm doing research, but not seeing a patient anymore. But it depends on you. If you like to continue, I think it's okay to do so. Yeah, I may come
Okay.
back. in the future
Okay.
if I have
Okay.
time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, thanks, Joe. So, Prof. Tsubota, I have a question that maybe first one is related to violet light, and a lot of our audience may not distinguish what you're mentioning as violet is not UV, and that angle, I think we just need to clarify to the audience, like what is the difference between the violet light that you're using and the UV, and you, of course, there's similar to the FDA in the US, in Japan. How do you balance between the protective effect against myopia and potential safety concerns when using the violet? Is it just by the duration of the exposure,
Oh,
either whether it's outdoors or through the glasses, or also the intensity of the violet light?
that's a very good question. You may have a general concept. Shorter wavelength is more dangerous, right? You may think shorter wavelength has more energy, so has a more side effect. So you may think violet light is more dangerous than blue light, right? But very interesting, violet light is very safe compared to the blue light. But UV is dangerous. UV is ultraviolet. That means the beyond the below the violet light. So we think that less than 360 nanometer of wavelength is a UV light. And between 360 to 400 is called violet light zone, which is a visible light. And that is a part of a rainbow color.
And so, in terms of then, have you tried using different doses? Do you have a dose response for the violet light usage for myopia?
In the mouse model,
Mm.
yes, but for the human, we did not. We just use the average violet light intensity in Tokyo. We calculated winter,
Interesting.
summer, spring, and autumn, and the north, south, and upper and down, and calculate, and we use average.
Got it. Understood. Because I mean, the classification for UVA includes the 460 or 415 to 400, but it includes the three, sorry, the 315 to 400 or the 380 to 400 nanometers. So my question now is a bit of a technical one. When it comes to mice, their lenses they don't filter UV. So lenses of mice are transparent to UV. Humans are not. So do you think that there's another mechanism also taking place besides the retina, or do you think the amount of UV or violet lights going through the lens is enough to stimulate OPN5 in a human retina?
Yeah, that's another good question. It is very well known that the shorter wavelength of light does not transmit the human lens.
Mm,
But there are several studies that even it's not big, but 1 to 10% of
mm,
violet light can pass. So it might be enough to stimulate the OPN5 receptor in the retina. We still believe that eye is the primary receptor place for the
mm,
violet light.
mm.
But we have to, explain how that the lens can transmit those wavelengths. Yes, you are correct.
Very interesting. I mean, one more question maybe, and you mentioned this. So you started your innovation journey full on at the age of 60, if I understand correctly. I
Right.
assume that you're not advising the attendees to start at 60, but you're telling them if you have the cognitive readiness. I'm interested, what is cognitive readiness? The definition of it. That's so we can.
Cognitive readiness is that like you understand this field,
Okay,
like since you are the myopia man, so and
got it.
also the blue light or light specialist, I think you can do business in this field.
Got
Like
it.
you cannot do the AI study. You see, although AI is a topic of the business, but it's not a good idea for you to go to AI business. But this field of ophthalmology, this is your field. So that is a cognitive readiness.
Got it. So it's the readiness in your field where you basically dominate the field, everything related to your field. So you're ready
Right,
to,
right, right.
and
Yeah.
people will take. That's very interesting. Okay. And maybe one last question. When it comes to, I found it really interesting that you managed to develop to induce myopia with just the eye drops. If I'm not mistaken, the tuncamycin, if I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
mistaken,
It's
right?
ER stress induced.
Right, right. And have you tried this in other models? Because I mean, we would love to try them in other large models if you think that that can
We
work.
did not. Please do
Okay,
it. Yeah,
okay.
I hope you can make it.
That's
We
really
did
interesting.
only the mouse and we published one paper. But if you can do it with the other animal, that's very nice.
Very interesting. Okay. Maybe I ask Yan, Joel, any additional questions from you to Prof. Tsubota?
Maybe just one last one from me. Prof, do you have any like practical ways on how to foster this happy culture in your company? Because realistically
Oh,
speaking, it's so difficult, right? Everybody is so result driven. Yeah.
I see. I always talk about the Gokigen, and also we made a survey how Gokigen, our teammate are. They are very Gokigen. Usually, average company's Gokigen level is 5.8 according to Dr. Seligman's questionnaire, but our company is 7.3. So it's a really Gokigen, and I think it's a culture. I did not have a chance to talk about the culture, but startup company needs a own culture, and our culture is Gokigen. So, we discuss about the research. We do the journal club. We do the like a sales, but also same time we discuss about what is the purpose of your life, what is the purpose of a company, or what does it mean Gokigen to you or to the company. Those things. So it's a very routine. It's a very natural to talk about.
Okay,
Very
thank
interesting. And
you.
I assume this applies everywhere as well, right, Prof. Tsubota, not only in companies and the research departments and clinical departments. I guess what you're applying is specific to companies or in general?
No, in general.
In
So
general, right.
I'm talking about the Gokigen at home all
Culture,
the time.
right. Culture.
So my teaching philosophy to kids, I have, as I told you, I have 5 kids. I just tell, be responsible for your Gokigen. Otherwise, you can do whatever you like. But be smiling all the time. That's father expects you.
Awesome. Okay, so with this, I think is perfect, a perfect conclusion. So, Prof. Kazuo Tsubota, thanks a lot for the very enlightening talk today, and thanks for sharing all the work and all the innovations that you're doing in your lab and in your company.
Oh,
Uh, we really appreciate it. Also, thank you, Yen, for joining and Jao for joining the panel. And thanks a lot to, I think, the person who is always behind all this, Vicky, who's organizing the webinars and going through all the emails and all the invitations. So, Vicky, thanks a lot for really doing a phenomenal job on the webinars for 2025. And this is the last webinar for 2025, everyone. Thank you for attending the webinars for 2025. And we look forward to seeing you all again in 2026. And stay tuned, there will be some changes in 2026, but with the webinars, will continue. So thanks a lot for everybody. And Prof. Tsubota, thanks again
thank you,
for really
Raymond, and
fantastic
also Yan
talk.
and Jill. Thank
Thank
you,
you so
and
much, Prof.
everyone. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
So, good night.
Good
Thank you,
night.
everyone.
See you.